welcome to the video lecture series of Basic Electronics, module number 1, lecture number 11. So today we are going to see some few basic derivations associated with the full wave rectifier. Okay, so in the previous video lecture series, we have seen the derivations and the problems related to half wave rectifier. Okay, so the very basic difference between the half wave rectifier and the full wave rectifier is the output voltage or the output waveforms. When you compare with the half wave rectifier is like it's a better. Okay, and today we will try to see some derivations and also with respect to the efficiency of the half wave rectifier compared with the full wave rectifier. Okay, when it comes to the full wave rectifier, okay, in the full wave rectifier, if you look at this particular diagram over here, okay, so this full wave rectifier can be taken as a bridge rectifier or a center tap full wave rectifier. Okay, so it's the operation of this full wave rectifier is as similar as the half wave rectifier. The only basic difference is we make use of the two diodes like D1 and D2, okay, instead of a single diode, and your output will be available both for the positive and negative half cycle of the input. Okay, so here in the full wave rectifier, you are first during the positive half cycle, we have the positive output, okay, and during the negative half cycle, which is from pi to 2 pi, still we have another output waveform. So in this way we can say that for a complete one cycle we have the output voltage or the output waveforms at the when you measure across the load resistance RL. Now, looking with this particular graph, okay, or the waveform, let us try to derive some few basic equations which we try to analyze, okay, by substituting the values taking from the waveform. So let us derive the first equation, that is the load current or the current IDC, or you can also call it average current IDC. Okay, to calculate the average current for a full wave rectifier, it is similar as the half wave rectifier. Okay, so the current IDC is given by 1 divided by 2 pi. It will remain same. Your integration will be from 0 to pi for the first half cycle, I into d theta. Okay, or you can take it as t also. Okay, and plus 0 to 2 pi, again I into d theta. Okay, since by the definition of the integral property of the above equation, okay, here we are making use of the two integrals. Okay, there is the another possibility that you may also go for the calculation of this particular current separate also, okay, by putting t. Okay, if you t like d omega t, or even if you put the d omega t also, right, it will be like you will get the same answers. Okay, so by the integral property, okay, so your IDC will be given as 1 divided by 2 pi, 2 times of the integral from 0 to pi. Okay, why you have taken as 2? Okay, because if you look at here in the waveforms, okay, you can see there are two cycles for a different limits or for a different range of t. Okay, the first will be from 0 to pi, okay, and the second will be from pi to 2 pi. Okay, so when you try to measure the voltage across 0 to pi and pi to 2 pi, it will be same. Okay, so this amount of current or this amount of voltage will be same, so therefore you can take it as 2 by applying the integral property. Okay, so therefore here in the finding the current of IDC, so 1 by 2 pi, 2 multiplied by integration from 0 to pi into IT. Okay, so here this 2 and these 2 will be get cancelled because they are the constant numbers. So what remains is IDC is equal to 1 by pi integration from 0 to pi, okay, into d theta, then apply the integration, or simply you can put the value of I. So what is the value of I over here, because it's the flow of current. So your I basically is equal to, it is Im, because the input current, into sine, either you can write like this also, sine omega t. Okay, sine omega t, or sine theta, okay, sine theta, sine theta, okay, multiplied by d theta, sine theta into d. Just substitute the value over in this equation, so you will get this particular answer. Okay, now Im is a constant term, so take outside the integral, so it is Im by pi. Okay, apply the integration of sine theta is minus cos theta, so limit will be from 0 to pi. Okay, now you can even take the minus sign also outside, so it is minus Im by pi. Okay, now apply the limits, it is cos pi minus sine minus cos 0. Okay, the value of cos pi is minus 1 and the minus will remain as it is, and cos 0 is 1. Okay, so altogether it makes minus 2, right? So it is as equal as the current IDC is equal to, okay, so it is minus Im, okay, multiplied by it is minus 2 multiplied by minus 2 whole divided by it is pi, whole divided by pi. So minus of minus is equal to plus. So the value of IDC for a full wave rectifier is given by 2Im divided by pi. Okay, so the only thing you need to remember over here is you need to take the two integration values either separately or club it together by applying the property of integral, and then you can find the solution for IDC. This is the one method of calculation. Okay, the second method is nothing but you just take this particular integration, instead of d theta, take it as d omega t. So it will be like 0 to integration from 0 to pi Im sine omega t into d theta into d omega t plus integration from 0 to 2 pi again Im sine omega t into d omega t. Okay, so then apply the separate integral values and then you can calculate, again you will get the same answers. Okay, so similarly we have the another values to be calculated over here, that is the average DC current. Now for this you can apply the Ohm's law. Okay, so the basic Ohm's law definition which is given by V is equal to I multiplied by R. V is equal to I into R. Okay, now here what is the value of V? What is the value of V is nothing but it's we need to calculate VDC, which is equal to I will be equal to IDC multiplied by, now R will be equal to RL. R will be equal to RL, right? So what is the value of IDC? That is nothing but VDC is equal to IDC is equal to 2 Im by pi. Okay, so it is 2 Im divided by pi multiplied by RL multiplied by RL. Okay, 2 Im by pi multiplied by RL, right? So you can see here we have used the basic formula for Ohm's law, substituted the value of the IDC. Okay, and we also know that the Im will be equal to Vm divided by Rs plus Rf plus RL. Okay, how you can take it here is nothing but RL will be the load resistance, but Rf is a feedback resistance, Rs is nothing but it's a series resistance. Okay, so please remember, whenever you go for the calculation of the average voltage, okay, or average DC voltage, you need to take all the three resistance. You cannot take only the value of RL. You need to take the sum of all the three resistance which is present in that particular circuit diagram, okay, or the operational diagram. Okay, Rf plus RL plus Rs. Okay, then when you go for doing this, so what will be the value over here? So substitute this value of Im in this particular formula, right? Substituting the value over here. Okay, so it is 2 Vm into RL whole divided by pi multiplied by R. If the value of the resistance Rs and Rf, okay, in the denominator, if it is less than RL, okay, if it is less than RL, then you can rewrite the equation of VDC is equal to Vm divided by pi. Vm divided by pi. Now calculate what is the value of Vm by pi. 2 Vm by pi. You will get 0.637 multiplied by Vm. So therefore, the average DC voltage of a full wave rectifier is 0.637 into Vm. So this is the another important small derivation which is required for the calculation of efficiency. Okay, so please do remember how we follow the steps one by one. Okay, similarly, okay, we have the calculation for the load RMS voltage. Okay, or simply you can call it as RMS value of a full wave rectifier. Okay, when it comes to the RMS value of the full wave rectifier, we take the root mean square, right? We take the root mean square values, then substituting the root mean square values by the value of the current. Okay, that is the, you can say either load current or the average current, right? Then after doing all substitution, okay, you need to again put the values of the input signal, that is in terms of Im. Okay, so let us see how this particular equation can be derived. The formula for IRMS is equal to root of 1 by pi integration from 0 to pi I square into d theta. Okay, then RMS is equal to 1 by pi will be as it is. Okay, then root of root of 1 by pi 0 to pi, substitute the value of I, so it is Im square into sine square theta into d theta. Okay, sine square theta into d theta. So root of Im square can be taken out outside, so it is Im square divided by pi, so that is root of integration from 0 to pi sine square theta into d theta. Now apply the trigonometric function. Okay, so when you apply the trigonometric function for the sine square theta, okay, so 1 by RMS root of Im square divided by pi, integration will remain same. Okay, then sine square theta can be written as 1 minus cos 2 theta divided by 2 into d theta. Okay, then apply the integral part again. Okay, so root of Im square divided by pi. Okay, so 1 by 2 integration from 0 to d theta minus 1 by 2, you can either take a separate value also, cos 2 theta into d theta, right? Then apply the upper limit first, then go for the lower limits. So when you apply the upper limit, okay, so root of Im square by pi will remain as it is. Okay, so for this particular, if it is nothing is there, it is as equal to 1, so integration of 1, right? So how you take this 0 to pi, so it is pi by 2. Okay, integration of 1 is a constant number, right? So pi by 2 minus 1 by 2, then cos 2 theta into d theta, so sine 2 theta minus sine 0, right? So sine 0 is 0, right? Then even if you put over here, then sine 108 sine 360 is again a 0 value, right? Then go for the solution of this particular, so the whole term over here will be made equal to 0, right? So IRMS is equal to square root of I square in Im square divided by pi into pi by 2. So this pi and this pi will get cancelled. Okay, here also it is same. Then what remains is Im square divided by 2. So here again you can cancel out this 2 and root 2 here, so it will be Im divided by root 2. Okay, so the three derivations over here are IDC is equal to 2 Im by pi. Okay, VDC is equal to 0.637 into Vm, and the IRMS for a full wave rectifier is equal to Im divided by root 2. Okay, similarly, the thing what we have calculated over in the previous equation is again for the efficiency, the ripple factor values. Okay, and the another thing is you can go for the calculation of the RMS value, or VRMS value can be written as Vm divided by, directly we can take it out, because here you can see it is for the current. current IRMS is Im by root 2. What is the voltage RMS? It is Vm divided by root 2. So, and it is ideal for the and it is common for the ideal diode. Okay. Now go for finding the efficiency of the full wave rectifier. Okay, so to find the efficiency of the full wave rectifier, we have a definition that neta is equal to power DC divided by power AC. Okay, define what is power DC. So power DC is equal to I square into R, basic formula, right? So PDC is equal to IDC square multiplied by RL. So we have the value of IDC. So IDC is equal to 2 Im divided by pi. But the thing over here is, instead of taking the value of RL, so or simply you can take it generalized values also, but still when you go for the substitution values, do take care of these particular values. Okay, so PDC is equal to IDC square into RL. This is for the upper, that is the numerator value. But when you go for the AC calculation, that is what I said, you need to take all the values of the resistance, right? So power AC is equal to, again, I square into R. I square is nothing but I RMS square. You cannot take IDC square. So when it is a PDC, you take IDC. When it is PAC, please take I RMS values. Okay, so I RMS square multiplied by the sum of the three resistance, that is feedback resistance RF, series resistance RS, and the load resistance RL. Substitute the again the value of the PAC and PDC. If I call this as equation number 2 and the above equation number as equation number 1. Okay, substituting the equation number 1 and equation number 2 in the value in the formula of the efficiency. So the numerator is IDC square into RL divided by IRMS square multiplied by the sum of three resistance. Now you need to clearly substitute the values of IDC square. So IDC square is equal to 2 Im by pi whole square into RL. What is the value of IRMS square? It is Im divided by root 2 whole square multiplied by the whole resistance value. Okay, so if you do that, okay, so what will be or even you can do the calculation of finding the efficiency. E is equal to, so if you remove the square bracket, so 2 square is equal to 4, right? 4 Im square, right? 4 Im square divided by pi, right? Pi multiplied by RL. This is the numerator part. Okay, this is the numerator part. So it is, that is 4 Im square divided by pi square, it is pi square multiplied by RL whole divided by, here also you can do the same thing, that is Im square, right, divided by root 2 in square will get cancelled because it is for the denominator part, right? So it will be equal to 2 multiplied by the sum of resistance RS plus RL, okay, plus RF, right? So how we go for this, Im square and Im square will get cancelled. Okay, this 2 will be multiplied with 4, so it becomes 8. Okay, so 8 divided by pi square, right? 8 divided by pi square multiplied by, our numerator value is RL whole divided by the sum of the three resistance values. Okay, so the sum of three resistance values, that is nothing but RS plus RF plus RL plus RL, right? So when you do this much amount of calculation, so you will get this simplified answer. So go for the, again, 8 divided by pi square. So 8 divided by pi square is nothing but 0.812 multiplied by the whole answer. Okay, after doing the substitution of that particular value, okay, we get this. If I take the RL into the denominator part, so it will be as equal as RF plus RS plus RL divided by RL. Now if you put a condition over here that if my series resistance and the feedback resistance, they are very less than the RL, or if the RL is greater than these two resistance, then the maximum theoretical value for a for a full wave rectifier will be as equal to this much, that is 0.812. Okay, if you multiply with 100, it will be equal to 81.2 percentage. So therefore, for a half wave rectifier, so it is equal to 40.6 percentage. Okay, for a full wave rectifier, it is doubled, so it is 81.2 percentage. Okay, for a half wave rectifier, we have the single cycle at the output side for only that is positive part. Okay, so this is the output voltage, but when you compare with the full wave rectifier, we get even for the negative half cycle. Here it is not present, here it is present. Because of the presence of this, I get 81.2 percentage of my efficiency. So whenever we try to make use of an application part, we will not go for the half wave rectifier, we go for the full wave rectifier, because the efficiency of the full wave rectifier is doubled, okay, when it is compared to the half wave rectifier. Similarly, you can go for the calculation of the ripple factor by the definition, that is RMS values of the AC component divided by the DC components, right? So the formula will remain same, that is gamma is equal to root square or the square root of IRMS square minus IDC square divided by IDC. You just substitute the value of IRMS. The value of IRMS is equal to, it is Im by root 2. Okay, IDC is equal to 2 Im by pi. So if you substitute these two equations, that is the IRMS and IDC values in equation, in the main equation, that is in the gamma equation, you will get Im divided by root 2 whole square divided by 2 Im divided by pi whole square minus 1. Okay, so these two values of Im will get cancelled. So what remains is, it is pi divided by root, and root will get cancelled, so it become 2. So it is pi by, either you can take like this also, or you can change the equation method. Okay, so it is pi divided by 2 root 2 whole square minus 1, the whole to the root. So calculate the value, that is pi divided by 2 root 2 whole square, you will get 1.11 whole square minus 1. So if you do that, you will get 0.482. Okay, 0.482. So this is the ripple factors of the full wave rectifier. But what was the ripple factor for the half wave rectifier? It was 1.21, right? So what is the difference over here? The efficiency of the full wave rectifier is better than compared to half wave rectifier, but the ripple factor of the full wave rectifier, if you measure these two values, right, it is half of this particular value, half or less than half, because the number or the ripple content in the half wave rectifiers are less as compared to the full wave rectifier. You can see the number also. So this is how we try to compare with both the half wave rectifier as well as the full wave rectifier. Okay, so till here the calculation part will be done. Okay, so for the exam point of view, any few derivations can be included for the derivation part. Okay, either all or either one or two can be included. Okay, so with this I will conclude the today's video lecture series of the derivation part of full wave rectifier. So in the next video lecture, let us try to solve few problems related to the full wave rectifiers. Okay, thank you.